A young Afghan boy has been severely burned in an accident. He is being taken in a wheelbarrow to a forward Canadian base for urgent emergency care. Because of the rules, he's refused entry and treatment at the gate. That is not the Canadian way. It is not how we think. It is not who we are. Canadian soldiers decide to move outside the wire. They bring compassion, medicine, and caring to the people of Afghanistan. This is the Canadian way. The soldier's mission is outside the wire. Inside the wire, the mission is led by ATCO Frontec. Inside the wire on the Kandahar military compound, ATCO Frontec provides support and camp services under 5 separate contracts with NATO.
Cole, what's happening today?
Okay, so
our original proposal was based on the numbers back in 2006, where the base only was looking after about 9,000 people. And the number of aircraft arriving at that time was probably only about 35 to 40 per day. We're now expanded up to nearly 17,000 people here on the base, and we're looking at close to 90 aircraft arriving and departing here every day. We look after the aircraft as they come in, we meet them when they land, escort them to the appropriate parking spot, chalk them, provide basic ground power. We also provide air conditioning and toilet servicing, nitrogen top-ups, oxygen servicing. Our locations here are so tight that we can't afford to let an aircraft sit on the ramp any longer than they're supposed to, because the next aircraft that's coming in needs that spot. So one of the critical things that we have to deal with here on a daily basis is the fact that we are working in a war zone. You'll find that there's a lot of uncommon things that happen on this airfield. For example, the aircraft arriving and departing are conscious of the fact that they're arriving and departing, especially at night, on an airfield which could be attacked at any time.
As one ATCO Frontec team lands the plane, another ATCO team gets ready to unload whatever is on board. ATCO Frontec's Combined Air Terminal Operations, referred to as CATO, provides equipment, operators, and a labor workforce for this multinational military-civilian environment.
We're quite different from all other contractors here, where we're actually embedded with the military, which makes it quite difficult on some aspects, because we've got sort of 2 bosses. We've got our ATCO bosses and we've got the military bosses. We're predominantly here to service aeroplanes, both inbound and outbound, with all cargo, passengers, and anything that needs to come off or back on. And we basically just turn aircraft around day and night, 24/7. When we first started, we were doing about £1 million of cargo a week. Now we're typically doing £4.5 million per week, and the passenger numbers have increased probably threefold in 6 months. We've had AN 225s coming in, which is the biggest plane in the world. It was probably one of the hardest days we've had here. We started the offload about 6 in the morning. For 2 pieces of equipment coming off, right, should have took 2 or 3 hours. 9 hours later, we were still there offloading these 2 things. These things had never ever been offloaded off a flight before in their lives, and we were the first to do it. The military have never done it, so it was a first for ATCO that we actually achieved to get them off, right? And we did get them off, and it was safe to get them off, and we did it. And we were very proud of ourselves at the end of that day.
Fire, rescue, and crash services on the base are handled by ATCO Frontec.
I've been working on this project approximately October of '06. It was one of the wildest, craziest experience of my life to take on this task. We have a larger department, larger than any Canadian base. We have approximately 61 plus now with our hazmat team, 68 guys. It's a very active department. We have over 1,900 calls. There's 32 different nations on this airfield, and we're looking at several hundred aircraft that are stationed here and going and coming all the time. I've seen more fires in the last 8 months on this airfield involving Kandahar than I did in my whole career in the Armed Forces. This is a war zone. This is an unbelievable base, and it's just roller coaster. It's overwhelming at times.
Training for ATCO Frontec's fire chief and his crews is absolutely critical, as it can be the deciding factor between life and death.
We had the F-16 crash the other day, or abort its mission. It had 2 500-pound bombs, which were dragging on the ground, and we also had a 1,000-gallon fuel pod that cracked and broke away from the frame slightly. We were lucky that the aircraft came down and it cracked and stopped it from leaking. So that aircraft has hydrazine, which is a very dangerous substance that could actually kill you if it comes within a radius of it. It took approximately, I would say, 3 hours just to secure the incident.
The fire chief and his officers combined have over 200 years of experience. Tonight, they're calling on every ounce of that experience as they battle this raging inferno caused by an enemy rocket.
The fire was approximately, I would say, no more than 8 feet behind me here. It would have spread. As you can see, the plastic tarps almost go over one another into one pit into the other. Overall, there's approximately, in this general area, 800,000 liters of fuel. This would have threatened the airfield as a whole.
An important component of this NATO contract is hazmat management. Hazardous materials are a reality of military operations.
This site was saturated with fuel from a number of years ago. 1,600 liters of fuel was saturated in this site. What's happening now is they're more of an environmental issue where we are draining out all the fuel out of the hole, and then we'll put it in barrels, and then the backhoe will come in and we'll excavate the site, and we'll remediate the ground, and we'll backfill it with clean gravel. So at least the area to be a hell of a lot safer than turning around and leaving this all saturated.
Waste management on the base is also taken care of by ATCO Frontec.
What we have over here when you come into the yard site is our recycling bays and our recycling material. These are the plastic bottles we go through. Each day they come in, they're picked out of the main garbage, and we use the recycle bins. We get about 4 tons a day out of just plastic bottles. We also recycle cardboard. As you can see, we get a substantial amount of cardboard also. Cardboard sent off camp to a recycling place. The bottles, they are sent off camp to a plastic recycling factory where they make garbage bags. When our compactor trucks come in and other contractors and the military come in with their general garbage, it is brought over here to the sorting bay. It's sorted by hand to remove as much of the material out that we can recycle as possible, so that it's less burning that we have to do. The problems the sorters may encounter is they have to open each bag and they have to check for a couple of items, and that being medical waste and ammunition. This is the medical incinerator that was purchased last month by the company, and I think what we're going to find is we will need another incinerator here shortly, especially if the camp increases in size.
I'm the transportation manager here at the ATCO CAF project. So basically our responsibilities are we move personnel all over the base and move a lot of cargo, and we deliver water, which I think is probably the most important aspect of this whole thing. And it's been a real challenge, but we're doing it. The numbers are unbelievable. I mean, this is the desert. Non-potable is the water that people use for washing and taking showers, etc. And in just 1 week, we deliver 1,100,000 gallons at plus. And then we have down the list here, this is just for the American military base. And that's not as many people. So for example, you see non-potable showers is almost 300,000 gallons. And remember, that's for a week. So you add those numbers up for a year, it's astronomical how much water we actually deliver. Well, basically what happens is our Roku plant produces this much water, and these numbers are based on exactly like how many gallons come out of their pump. So it's taken out of the well, it's refined, and then they can add extra chlorination, and then it actually turns into drinking water. So the water comes out of the ground, and they send it off to Burger King and Pizza Hut, and people actually consume it.
The water needs of 17,000 people in camp were originally served by one reverse osmosis system, producing 230,000 gallons per day. ATCO Frontec has recently added a second system that dramatically increased daily production to 700,000 gallons. Every hour, samples are taken so that abnormalities can be treated immediately. Each unit of the 40 bladder storage system holds 50,000 gallons. Potable and non-potable water is vitally important to the military, often for surprising reasons.
With some funny situations, like the military will only wash their helicopters with drinking water. I guess they want their helicopters really clean.
The NATO soldiers and the people of ATCO bring to Afghanistan their expertise, their determination, and their commitment to help in a war zone where anything can happen. That is the Canadian way.
I'm extremely proud of the group of people that we've been able to hire for the aircraft cross-servicing. All of my team leads have got 20 years plus experience in the military, and we have a very, very good working relationship with everybody, and it is a real team effort to make this happen day in and day out.
From the day they got here, they have worked long hours, right? They always give 110%, right? They never ever shirk their responsibilities. If it meant we had to stay here longer, we would stay and do it, right? That's the commitment my guys always give.
We are one big family here. So like I said, we have fire inspectors, we have hazmat, we have crash, and we have structural, and we do engineering, but we're all, when it comes to the fire, we're all there. We got to be there to help each other out.
I mean, I feel like I'm a part of something special. We're actually doing something to help these people, and that means a lot to me. It really does, you know? And I'm proud of it. And I'm proud of ATCO and the way they treat people and the way they provide support to all the military. This is the first time I've had a job that made me feel this good.